Hey, I'm John with Biscuit Tree Woodworks. Now, when you buy a new table saw, it's probably going to come with something similar to this, a simple plastic push stick. Now, you might assume since the manufacturer thought to include this, that it's going to be the best tool for the job, right? Because after all, why would they include it unless it was the best tool for the job, right? Right? Well, that's exactly what I thought when I got into woodworking and bought my first table saw. But I very quickly realized that these have some major shortcomings. One issue with this style of push stick is it has very small surface area, so it makes very little contact with the workpiece as you're pushing it through the blade. This can cause the piece to drift away from the fence and could potentially cause a kickback. Also, these are not repairable. So if you're trying to cut thin strips and run this through the blade and chew up the end of it, this is pretty much trash. And if that wasn't bad enough, if you start to push the wood into the blade before you clear the front of the table saw, the front of it can actually lift up, and when it contacts the blade, it can slam it back down to the table, potentially causing kickback and possibly a change of drawers. All right, so now that I've given you some reasons not to use these, let's look at a better and much safer alternative. How about one that's not going to set us back almost $80? So to build the ultimate table saw push stick, we just need a scrap piece of plywood that measures about 10 inches by 6 inches. Next, we take our precision circle cutting template and mark the top 2 corners with a radius so that we can cut those off. Now we head over to the bandsaw to cut the 2 radiuses. Next, set the fence a 1/4 inch from the blade and cut along the bottom of the push stick, leaving a 1/2 inch heel at the back. And now for some quick sanding to remove all the splinters and rough edges. Sure wish it was that quick in real life. And with that, we have what I like to call the whale, because it looks like a, whale. And now, because we have a much larger surface area to work with, we have a lot better control over the workpiece as it's passing through the blade. And now, since the downward force is over the workpiece instead of just on the back, we don't have to worry about the wood lifting as we're pushing through the blade. Now, the final thing I like about this type of push stick is after you've run it over the blade a few times and started cutting out some notches into the bottom, all you have to do is take this over to the bandsaw and cut a new bottom onto it and recut the notch, and it's good as new. You can't do this with many other types of push sticks, especially any that have the weird handle on the back of them that gets in the way. You just don't have a good flat surface to remake the bottom. All right, so that's how I make my favorite push stick, aka the whale. Now, I do use the gripper a good bit in my shop. It's typically whenever I'm cutting wide panels or larger boards, that's what I'll use. But if I'm cutting smaller strips, this is what I'm going to use because I have a lot more control over the workpiece and it's just a lot safer. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please tell me, what do you use at the table saw? Do you go with the manufacturer's special? Do you go with the gripper or some other purchased solution? Or do you make your own handmade like the whale or some of the other varieties that are out there? Please leave me a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the future for more woodworking videos.